Hi, this is Amy Lewis. This is Engineers Unplugged. Hi, this is Amy Lewis, and you're back with a very special edition of Engineers Unplugged. We've got Jimmy Ray Purser from TechWise TV and Joel McKelvey, and we're going to answer the question today. I'm an engineer. Why would I do that? Jimmy Ray, take it away.
There's a lot of things an engineer always asks, why would I do that? But Joel, you're kind of got a big background in finance. You and I were talking off camera a little while. Let me run some math by you. So let's say that I've spent 4 years in training, and then I've spent like another 20 years of field experience, and let's say I've got 24 years, no telling how many hours of experience building out networks and stuff. Why would I ever do a converged architecture? For me, that is verboten. I would never friggin' ever put a converged architecture in my network because I want to build that stuff myself, man. I take ownership, I take pride of it. I know what's in it, I can script it. No friggin' way am I ever, I know you guys make great stuff and I'm going to use your stuff in it, but you're not building it for me. No, 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 no.
Well, a lot of people ask me that same question, like, a converged infrastructure, why can't I do it myself? And these people are relatively intelligent like you, but they have better handwriting, but they're relatively smart and relatively trained, so why would you do a converged infrastructure? This is a common question. Why would I let someone else put together that infrastructure for me? And I'm an engineer too. And what I can tell you is there's things I like to do in the data center and things I don't like to do in the data center. And if you got 25, 26 years of experience racking, stacking, purchasing, building out that data center yourself, is probably a waste of your time. Your boss doesn't want to pay you to do screwdriver work in a rack every day. What your boss wants to pay you to do is to figure out how that infrastructure goes together and get it into deployment quickly with services on it. And so my boss is going to say to me, why are you building something which has already been designed? Why don't you design a service which I can use to make people in my company happier or to sell to another company, do an infrastructure as a service offering? Cloud's big, right? I want to do cloud. How much of cloud should be involved with racking and stacking kit in a rack, right? Cloud is a software construct. Let's get that hardware in place with a well-understood architecture that's been designed by people with equal or greater amounts of experience to you, and that'll let you do what you're good at.
I hear you. And my first thought is when you're saying, would you ever rack and stack? I'm like, no, that's what interns are for, right? But here's the thing though. So because you got to help me here, brother, because I want to help you. But if you're going to design out a rack for me, right? And I'm cringing. I mean, I probably get goosebumps on my arm thinking about it and stuff. And you're putting all this gear in here and stuff. As time passes and stuff, and we go across, this gear is starting to get less and less technical. I mean, it gets to be more in the eBay category of stuff I'm going to sell, and I'm not able to keep up with times if I don't customize and build this stuff myself. I'm really concerned, actually, to be honest with you, of what Moore's Law is going to come back and do and bite me in the end here, because now I've got a gear that is still being depreciated over 5 years. Now what am I going to do? Okay, so what is the Flex?
Well, you note I can actually make intelligible letters on a whiteboard, but in addition to that, I work with FlexPod, and the point, the point of FlexPod is that when you need to add capacity to an infrastructure, you can add it. When you want to change what servers you're using, you need the latest version of UCS, you can put them in. It'll automatically detect them, it'll run with those. If you need more server capacity, more storage capacity, you add it. It's still a FlexPod, it's still supported by Cisco and NetApp, it still operates the way you want to. What you have is a reference architecture, a better understanding of how to put it in place in a way that's going to reduce your risk and reduce the amount of time it takes to put it in place. Now, furthermore, Cisco and NetApp and our partners, VMware, Citrix, and others, in our cooperative support matrix are going to support it, even when you change it, even as you modify it going forward, because not only does the architecture continuously updated, but if it's Cisco and NetApp equipment in that rack, we're going to support you. And we found is that the support experience with FlexPod is exceptional. We're getting 98% of the calls coming in without any escalation, they get to be resolved. That's at that first level. So no escalation, because we've trained those teams to be able to respond quickly and effectively. So FlexPod is something you can actually build yourself. And we encourage you to build it yourself. What we're giving you is a manual on how to do it as smart as possible. To the extent that you diverge from that manual to do what you need to do that's custom for you, you take on a little bit of risk because we haven't tested it for you, but you can test it yourself because you're a smart guy, right? But even if you diverge, if you keep those fundamental components in place, we'll support you and keep going with you. And we're constantly touching base with our customers as well. When they come up with a smart idea, like no doubt you will, if you can write it down, and I recommend typing, tell us more about it. Then what we can do is as we continue to evolve FlexPod, include what you're doing in it. We've got almost 30 different workloads that we've done in a variety of configurations, small to large, and we're constantly adding to it. So instead of being like t-shirt sizes, you get small, medium, large, and then you're stuck. What you get to do is design what you want. We help you do that, and then we support it when it's in place. And that's very, very valuable. It cuts down on a lot of that initial design time by taking a lot of the intern work out of the process and letting you be smart. And then we support your smartness.
I like that idea, because as you're talking, one of the big disadvantages to kind of like cloud services and stuff I've seen is that people don't know what's in the cloud. And how can I say, well, I got a brand new this, a brand new that, a brand new this? You know, if customers educate on FlexPod, that kind of does at least give me, as another vendor, or somebody who wants to buy service in the cloud, a reference point for knowing that, look this up, because this is kind of good. So there is a good point there, and I'm really glad to hear about the support, because while I'm kind of more of an architect and want to architect and design out of pride and ego, and my mom says I'm smart, I do love to hear that you say that your support rate is really so high. I know we're like a minute away from doing this, from bringing Amy back, but that support piece is actually really important stuff here.
Well, and there's another thing. I just wrote Nexus down here, and I used a third color, you'll notice, for graphic benefit. But one of the things that's also cool about FlexPod today is that you can use what you already have. So let's assume, like many folks I know, that you already have a Nexus infrastructure in your data center. Cisco's got huge penetration in the data center. It's a powerful switch. If you already have that Nexus, you don't have to go buy another one to put in a FlexPod. You can build it yourself based on the switch you already have. You already have UCS on the UCS you already have. You already have NetApp on the NetApp you already have. So part of being flexible in FlexPod is letting you use existing equipment as well, and that makes it really compelling.
I know we got to bring Amy back to kind of do the final piece here.
Oh, I think we all know what time it is. It's unicorn time. So they're engineers. Let's see them engineer a flexible unicorn. Go! Flexible unicorn, go!
Are you ready? Jump around now.
This is why they are engineers.
Between the narwhal and the freaking Tyrannosaurus Rex. Look at this. The Tyrannosaurus Rex arms.
I have no idea what I'm doing here, okay.
You know what? It's when you're an engineer and you've got flexibility, you can engineer your own unicorn.
Oh, no, but see, I got lasers shooting out the side. Okay, don't
Thank you very much for watching this episode of Engineers Unplugged. Jimmy Ray and Joel. I'm an engineer. Why would I do this? We'll see you next time on Engineers Unplugged.